Okay, it can't be that hard. How about generate an
I'm sorry,
image
what?
of a cat playing guitar?
What's something smart I can say about Renoir?
Generate
Wait.
another image of a cat playing guitar.
Wait a second. Okay, hold up. What? He wants something smart to say about Renoir while he's at an art museum. For what purpose? Like, so you can just regurgitate AI generated information to try to impress someone? What was even the context of that? That makes no sense. And again, what is with the AI generated art? What is this? This is absurd. Nobody wants this. Okay.
If a girl calls me a snack, how do I reply?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I don't think I can do this. Okay. Where have you been? Do you live under a rock? Do you not know how to socialize? And so you're turning to a robot to learn how to socialize.
Make this
You're doing AI. That's how it works. You're doing AI. I don't know whether that just sounds idiotic or if it's like a little too on the nose, if you know what I mean. Also, there's no wrong way to prompt. Okay.
Or just generate an image of a cat playing guitar?
Okay. I can't do it. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Too much cat, too much playing guitar. Literally pointless. Other than the novelty of the invention of generative AI and the sort of, haha, this is so funny, and sending ridiculous images to your friends, that hype that lasts for like all of 5 minutes. What is the point? It kind of reminds me of the Memoji technology that Apple spent like God knows how many millions of dollars developing. That was everywhere, all over their ads back when the iPhone 10 came out, that now only boomers use. And it's really cringy. It's hype for hype's sake. It's hype for the marketing of the product, but that doesn't actually mean that you're selling a product. You're selling an ad. Okay, whatever.
This is Ted.
Hi,
Ted was
Ted.
born in 1998, the year of the first Google search. And as a teenager, whatever Ted was looking for, Google helped him find it.
James Bond music video.
Great. Okay, I love this because it's showing that once upon a time, the internet was actually good and like Google actually worked. There's a lot of nostalgia for this period. And I think it's hysterical that they're pointing to this 1998 or, you know, later, presumably early 2000s, mid 2000s. And they're saying, yeah, this is great. This is the exact thing that we're doing. We're turning this into a more modern technology. The issue is that nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted old school Google or old school YouTube to be fixed. They just broke it. And now they're trying to make it better.
Which is how Ted found something he didn't even know.
And again, the
he was
nostalgia
looking for.
washing with music
Turns
from
out,
the
life's full
90s and the
of
early
questions.
2000s.
Luckily, you can just ask Google.
Okay, yes, exactly. Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. You could just ask Google, not the AI overviews, which again are garbage. They don't work. Everybody knows this. But once upon a time, Google had a really good product called Google Search, where you would just enter things into a chat box. Tell me if this sounds familiar yet. You would enter things into a chat box and it would give you answers that would be helpful, and not a bunch of ads, not an AI overview. It would give you links to things you want to know. And there's also even websites, whole websites that would perform the exact functions demonstrated in this video, such as fixing a grill. There are whole YouTube videos on that, by the way, such as finding an event in your area or finding a concert in your area. There are whole websites dedicated to that that would show up in your Google results. But instead, Google just enshittified its own search results, and now we have this. And the fact that they're nostalgia coding it by like playing all of this old music from the 1990s and early 2000s, just, it's almost like an insult. Like, it's almost like, remember how good it was and we took it all away, but we're going to remind you that it used to exist. It's just so funny. Okay, so this next one isn't an ad per se, and that it's not a video or a billboard, but it is nonetheless AI propaganda. What I mean by that is across both business journalism and tech journalism, journalists have just totally neglected to do their jobs and report on the AI industry factually and with any level of question or scrutiny or critical thinking. So this is the article in question. The title is Microsoft CEO on how AI will remake every company, including his, which by itself, not a bad headline per se. Like, I understand that AI hypothetically could be a very disruptive technology, but when you get a little bit further into the article, it reaches levels of propaganda and delusion that kind of make me gag a little bit. Okay, so the part of the article that I'm talking about is towards the end, and it's where CEO Satya Nadella talks about his own personal use of AI and how it has infected basically every area of his life. I'm going to read it out loud because I just want you to understand what I mean when I say AI propaganda. Copilot consumes Nadella's life outside of the office as well. In case you're not familiar, Copilot is Microsoft's AI platform, AI chatbot. He likes podcasts, but instead of listening to them like a normal person does, he loads transcripts into the Copilot app on his phone so that he can chat with the voice assistant about the content of an episode in the car on his commute to Redmond. Wait a minute. Okay. So instead of listening to the podcast, which is what podcasts are for, the whole purpose of a podcast is that you listen to them, he loads transcripts, probably also AI derived, might contain mistakes, might have misspellings, into the Copilot app on his iPhone so that he can, wait a minute, hold on. This man is the CEO of Microsoft and he uses an iPhone. Okay, setting that aside, he loads transcripts into the Copilot app on his iPhone so he can chat with a voice assistant, not a human being that has a pulse and is actually intelligent. He's loading the transcripts into a robot so that he can talk to the robot. And the transcripts themselves are also robot produced. That's so bleak. This poor man, honestly, I pity him. Not really, because he makes like a stupid amount of money, but like, what is your existence? On the office, he relies on Copilot to deliver summaries of messages he receives in Outlook and Teams and toggles among at least 10 custom agents from Copilot Studio. Okay, so this is the point where he's using his own company's products. He's now no longer using an iPhone. He views them as his AI chiefs of staff, delegating meeting prep, research, and other tasks to the bots. Quote, I am an email typist, end quote, Nadella jokes of his job, noting that Copilot is thankfully very good at triaging his messages. Okay, so those are all very important jobs that real people have to do. And if the CEO of Microsoft is legitimately delegating all of those tasks to AI instead of real people, I really worry about the functionality of the C-suite. Like, I really worry about the overall direction of Microsoft if that's what's happening, because of how much these bots make mistakes and hallucinate and can't function at their own and delete entire databases if you tell them to do things autonomously. This is not a safe thing. I wouldn't trust it to make a dentist appointment for me, let alone serve as some kind of assistant while I'm the CEO of one of the largest companies in the world. And if you're a shareholder at Microsoft and you read this and you take it seriously, like you assume that Nadella's telling the truth, you would be deeply worried. You would have no faith in this man. Okay, now we're on to a Microsoft Copilot ad.
Exclamation.
Dude.
Copilot, make us statues.
This goes back to what I was saying earlier about there being no point to having a technology that enables you to generate low quality images of cats playing guitar. Why would you want a technology that allows you to Wallace and Gromit yourself or do whatever this is to photos of yourself?
Come on.
Make us anime style.
Okay, in case you're not terminally online and you don't understand the politics of AI, the whole reason why Microsoft integrated that specific segment into this ad, the make yourself anime bit, is because of OpenAI's and Sam Altman's sudden intense fascination a couple months ago with Ghiblification and using ChatGPT or Sora or whatever to turn photos, real photos, into a sort of Studio Ghibli-ified version. I think it's kind of pathetic and sad that Microsoft is thirsting so clearly after OpenAI's hype, especially given the weird quasi-ownership that Microsoft has over OpenAI. Like, it's both a quasi-subsidiary of of Microsoft, but also a competitor. So that's pathetic by itself. What's deeply concerning and honestly insulting about all of this is that this sort of AI generated art was so contrary to Miyazaki's philosophy. Like, there are whole videos out there in which Miyazaki basically rips apart AI usage in animation and says that, I forget what he said exactly, but he said that it's soulless, like it's the end of humanity. It's the end of what makes us human. And it's just levels of irony stacked into this ad. Again, it almost seems intentional. Like, it almost seems like they're trying to alienate everybody, and they're so rich and powerful that they can just do that. It's the most bizarre thing. I also want to point out this screen right here in particular, transform your pics for free. All of these companies, whether it's Microsoft and Copilot, or OpenAI and ChatGPT, or XAI and Grok, whatever it is, they all offer a lot of their services for free, whether it's text production or photo transformation or photo generation. And that's all good. Like, I get it. You want people to understand your product, to know how to use it. There is like a legitimate sort of business logic to that. The issue being that these companies aren't profitable. They have never been profitable. None of them have broken a profit. Many of them have costs that outpace their revenue by like a large factor. And I just wonder, are you ever going to be able to deploy your product for a cost? Like, are people ever going to be willing to spend $20 on this? We're in a situation in our economy with affordability that people aren't even willing to spend $20 a month on Netflix. And Netflix has a purpose. Netflix has shows and movies that you can watch. It's not just this slot machine that allows you to giblify your photos for no purpose. One more Copilot ad.
Copilot, how can we style this space? This could use a little love.
Brighten up those shelves with a mix of books and decor.
One of the most fun things about moving into a space or having agency over an apartment or a house, like wherever you live, is that you get to decorate it how you want. This like just drains the joy out of life. It drains the joy out of any creative aspects of living in a space. And honestly, it just makes me sad. But what's really hysterical, let's go back a little bit. What's hysterical is how they hired
Brighten up those
a
shelves
professional
with a mix of
dancer
books and
to
decor.
sell this. Like, she is sashaying and chenaing and pirouetting and being like, AI, help me decorate this space. They paid a dancer to do this. Okay, another Copilot ad.
What? Oh.
Holy crap. How much money did they spend on these ads to show that Copilot has no purpose other than making dumb images? Like, did they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars making these ads? These are not low quality production ads. There was a budget. There were producers. There were directors. They hired actors. They spent for sure at least tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions. I honestly don't know anything about the marketing industry, but I assume it's expensive. They spent all of this money on their ads for their product that seemingly has no purpose other than to make up BS. All of these ads have the same premise of like two friends sitting together on a couch or in a car or whatever, asking Copilot to alter images. And it's the same premise over and over again with no purpose. Like, what are you selling? Do you have any sort of creativity or thought with these ads? Why are they all the same?
Copilot, how about a goat?
Bro!
Look at that though. Look at that. Look at that. How is that different from Shrimp Jesus? That might as well be Shrimp Jesus. Make images from your words for free. Other than like to entertain children while they're bored or to come up with album artwork for your really crappy SoundClouds and playlists, why would you use this or want it? It doesn't even justify the hundreds of $1,000s or whatever that they spent on these ads, let alone the $1.3 trillion that has been invested into AI since 2020. I don't want to understate how much money is being poured into this industry right now. This industry that's has seemingly a sole purpose of producing Shrimp Jesus. The value of that industry, by one measure, is almost $16 trillion. The market cap for the Magnificent Seven is approaching $16 trillion as of August of this year. That's a bunch of financial gobbledygook, I know. Market capitalization, or market cap for short, is the current share price, so your current stock price, times the total number of outstanding shares. All you need to understand is that it's one way of understanding the worth or the value of a company. And that market cap for those 7 companies is massive. And so much of that value, so much of the worth right now is tied to AI. And the best use cases that its marketers can deliver to people is producing goat beekeeper shrimp Jesus. This is what $16 trillion gets you. Cool.